Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can create shared parameters and add them to your project from your Excel file. As you can see here in my Excel file, I have around 81 parameters which I need to create. So these are the parameter names and these are the data types for these parameters. Now I need to import this into Revit and create new shared parameters for this and add them as a project parameters to my project. I want to do this for rooms, and in my shared parameters I have already created a parameter group for the rooms, but there are no shared parameters created so far. So we do not want to do this by hand because it is pretty time consuming, so we will use Dynamo to create it programmatically and to batch create them in one go. Okay, now inside Dynamo we will create a new graph, set it to manual. And so basically what we need to do is now import the data from the Excel file and create new shared parameters and add them as project parameters for the rooms to our project. So we can start with our file path. Where we will find the path to our Excel file, which is for me here. Now we need to get the file from the path. Like this. Okay, this Dynamo is today super slow. You gotta love this search in here. Now we need to import Excel. So we will go with our file. With the sheet name for us is list 1. And now we have everything as strings, and we do not want to show Excel, so we will go with our boolean value to be false, not to show it. Now if I run this, you can see it got imported our Excel file, and you can see here we have a list of 3 levels, and every row inside of our Excel file is actually one list. So we need to get always the first items from every list and the last items from every list to be together, to be able to have only the names and then only the data types. So we go with our first item. And now because we have a list of 3 levels, we need to operate on the second level, because if I just run it now like this, you can see that it got me only this first list in here, because this is actually the first item in the list of 3 levels. So this is doing what it's supposed to do. But what we want to have is actually the first items from all of these lists. So I need to operate on the second level. And now if I run the script, you can see I get all of my names for my shared parameters which I want to create for my project. So we will do the same thing with the data type. So we will go with our last item. And we also want to operate on the second level. And if I run this, now we have our data imported and formatted in the way that we want them. So now we need to create our shared parameters. And add them as a project parameters into our project. For this, it is really great to use this create shared parameter node from the Genius Loki package. And basically what we need to define here is a parameter name, which is for us the names from our Excel file. Then we have group name, which is the parameter group name inside of our shared parameter file. So for us, it is rooms. Then we have parameter type, which is here from the Excel file. Then we have parameter group, which is a group inside of your Revit project. So this group name is inside of your shared parameter text file. And this parameter group is inside of your Revit model. So these are these different tabs that you have in your Revit. So we want to put it under the identity data. And now we need to define if it is instance and visible, and then the last thing is the category. So we will go with our Boolean value again. And we want it to be instance parameter and visible. And now for the categories, we want to create this shared parameter as a project parameter only for our rooms in our project. So we will select rooms as our category. And this way we will create new shared parameters under the group name of rooms inside of our shared parameter file. They will be of these data types from the Excel file, and they will be created as a project parameter under the group inside of your Revit project of identity data. They will be visible and instance parameters, and only for the category of rooms. Now if I run this script, you can see everything is completed. And if we go to our Revit model and I select my room, you can see all of my parameters now here added and created, and they are under this identity data tab. And if I go now into my project parameters, you can see they are all as a project parameter with the correct data type. And if we go to our shared parameter file, you can see the parameter group of rooms, and these are all of our newly created parameters that were added to the project. So this is the easy way how you can batch create new parameters as a shared parameters and add them as a project parameter into your Revit projects.